And now I want to move on to the Senate race. That has a little more wiggle room for the Republican, Senator Jon Husted. Not much, but just a little bit more. Why is that? Why are more Republicans supporting him than Ramaswamy?
So I do think that there is an incumbency advantage here, Husted being the incumbent senator with 49%, Brown, the challenger at 46%, and relatively fewer, 5% undecided here. I think that there's a little bit more in play here with the incumbency advantage. Also, the name recognition. So, Husted is relatively well known, as is Brown, though. So, I think that both candidates are going to run up against a little bit of a wall here in terms of trying to convince the electorate that, that who they are and that they aren't necessarily tied to who they have been in the past. So, in other words, these undecided voters, they by and large already know these guys, and so the campaigns are going to have their work cut out for them in telling them why they are the best choice for Ohio going forward. How they're either going to work with or against the Trump administration. There's a lot at play there, and it's going to be tough for those campaigns to really break out of the mold that they've already set for themselves.
And to that point, Husted served as the state's lieutenant governor. Sherrod Brown, he was the former senator of Ohio. He lost that seat, though, in 2024 to now Senator Bernie Moreno. Does this poll suggest that there's a large appetite for Sherrod Brown to return back to politics and go back to the Senate?
And I don't know that there is that evidence here. However, I will say in 2024, a Republican wave across the country, Brown only lost that seat by about 3.5 points. Right now, he is hot on Husted's tail at about 3 points. So this is certainly not outside of a winnable race for Brown. I think if we see a Democratic wave like we did in, say, 2018, and as we've sort of seen in 2025 already, then I think this is very much up for grabs. And, Brown stands a reasonable shot, again, especially given that 2024 result when the rest of Ohio voted for Republicans overwhelmingly. We didn't necessarily see that in the Senate race. And so, we might see that again. And, I think that 3.5 points, that's a small deficit that he can overcome pretty quickly.